This week, we got another Switch 2 rumor, another handheld possibly coming this year, and more. So let's just go ahead, together, as a people, and check it out! And welcome to another sensational Sunday. I'm Mike, and as your ally, I'm here to bring you the gaming news. But I'm willing to acknowledge I may not be your only ally, as some people have the ROG Ally, a popular Windows-based handheld, and it was one of the first handhelds to try to compete against the Steam Deck price-wise. But unlike the Steam Deck, they may be looking to have their second iteration a lot sooner than Valve. So Asus India's Vice President of Consumer and Gaming PCs, Arnold Su, had an interview with Techlusive, and in that interview, he basically said they'll probably launch the second generation of the ROG Ally this year. So yeah, nothing's being left to the imagination. They're probably going to release a new version of the ROG Ally. But my question is, with the ROG Ally 2, what are they going to do to improve on their current model? I'm sure AMD will have a more powerful chip, but since they've released the ROG Ally, you've also had Lenovo release the Legion Go, and you have MSI releasing the Claw soon, and they've both hit the same $700 price point. So I'm wondering what they're going to do to change things up in the second version. But I guess we'll find out maybe sometime later this year. And you know what else may finally come this year? Game streaming apps on the iPhone. So I haven't talked about this in a long time, but basically Apple had this stupid policy that prevented game streaming apps from being on their app store. They have their own game rating system, so they want to be able to rate each game individually, so they wanted each game to basically be its own separate app on the App Store so they could rate it, which obviously is stupid for a game streaming platform. So because of this, iPhone users haven't had any game streaming apps available to download in the App Store. Now, Xbox's xCloud is available as a web app, but doesn't work as well as a native app that's on Android. Well, that may finally change, as Apple has finally changed their policy to allow game streaming apps. The main rule is that the age rating for the app has to be based off of the game that requires the highest age, which is fair. So if an app has like a 17+ rating, it would make sense for the app to be rated that way in the App Store. Now, so far since the announcement, there hasn't been a commitment from Microsoft or anybody else like Amazon to bring their services to the App Store, but I know that Microsoft was pushing hard back in 2020 to try to get xCloud on the App Store. Either way, the door is open for game streaming services to finally appear on the iPhone properly with a freaking app in the App Store. But you know what other door has opened in the last couple of years? Sony's, as they've been bringing a bunch of their games over to PC. And now we know the next big game coming to PC from Sony, and it's Horizon Forbidden West Complete Edition. It's coming to PC on March 21st, which isn't super surprising since the first one has been on PC for a while now. The Complete Edition will include the Brain Shores DLC, and of course if you have a good enough PC, you can run it at higher frame rates and potentially better visuals than the PS5 version. But the PS5 is still getting some love either way, because the new controller colors and plates that were shown at CES are now available for both models of the PS5. So the Sterling Silver, Cobalt Blue, and Volcanic Red, which is different from the previous Cosmic Red, are all available to purchase along with the matching side plates for the slim and fat model. Right now the side plates are only available through Sony Direct, but they'll probably be available at other retailers sometime soon. But you know what else went on sale recently? The open world game Palworld. Someone in the comments on last week's video asked me if I had looked into this game and the news around it, and I still haven't played it to be honest, but I have been hearing about it. Now the main thing I've been hearing about this game, and I'm sure most people have been hearing about this game, is a lot of the models look like Pokemon, and it's basically like Pokemon with guns. So while I haven't played the game, I have seen some comparison pictures, and yeah, I can see why the Pokemon comparison is being made. And apparently the Pokemon company has also seen it, and they've put out a statement regarding the models in the game. So the Pokemon company said it's going to investigate a game. They didn't say the name of the game specifically, and then they say, quote, they're going to take appropriate measures to address any acts of infringement on their intellectual property rights related to Pokemon. They also go on to say that they haven't given permission to use their intellectual property in the unnamed game that they mentioned previously. So yeah, it sounds like the Pokemon company is looking into the game, but I'm guessing that it's not like cut and dry, because some of the designs are similar, but they're not exactly the same. I feel like if they had a way to get the game pulled, they probably would have acted on it by now. Either way, I wouldn't be surprised if there was some kind of resulting lawsuit for this in the future. I'll probably check out the game at some point and see what it's all about. But I know what system I probably won't be playing Palworld on, and that's Nintendo's next system. In fact, that's what we're talking about today. And our final story. I feel like every week or two we have some new rumor about the Switch U or the Switch 2 or the Super Switch, whatever it's going to be called. Anyway, this time we have a rumor about the hardware. So previously it's been reported that the hardware is going to be very similar to the Switch, and they're going back to an LCD screen, at least for the launch model. Well, an analyst from Omdia, Hiroshi Hayashi, I'm sure I said that wrong, is reporting that the next system is going to have an 8-inch screen. Now, as the GameSpot article points out, the original Switch had a 6.2-inch screen, and then it went to 7 inches when they switched to the OLED model. So if they do go back to an LCD, but it's even bigger, I think a lot of people will be fine with that. It could also help them justify the $400 price point if the previous rumors we talked about are true. Now, of course, if they're going to go up to 8 inches, that screen is going to have to be 1080p this time, or else it's going to look pretty bad with a screen that big. Now, as far as this rumor, I could potentially see this being true. It really depends on how big the device is going to be, because I know Nintendo probably still wants to make the handheld kid-friendly, so that way it fits in the kid's hands. So if they can find a way to make it playable for smaller hands, I could see them making the screen bigger, or maybe they can have 2 different sizes, or they're like Switch Lite equivalent available at launch for younger audiences. But I'm not getting any younger, so I'm going to go ahead and bring this video to a close. But let me know down below if you think Nintendo will go up to an 8-inch screen for the next system. Again, let me know down below. And if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to tell a friend, tell a coworker, like, share, subscribe, and hit that bell notification to be notified when I drop a video or a live stream. And always do at least 2 things at the same time. Peace.